Well, welcome to another face-to-face interview with Rockosaurus. Today I'm very pleased to be talking to the Reverend Jonnie Hodson from Silver Roller.
How's it going,
Welcome,
man? It's
Johnny.
good to see you. Yeah, it's good to
Yeah,
see you,
you
man.
too, mate.
It's been a
It's
while.
been a while, hasn't
It's
it?
been a while. Did we say lockdown?
Yeah, I'm sure it's your lockdown we last spoke. We spoke to the whole band, which of course at the time wasn't called Silver Roller, it was called Keylock.
Yeah.
Which brings me on to the question, why the change of name?
Well, to cut a long story short, we were kind of tied in with the name Kilo, with someone else we were working with. We had a lineup change and we kind of had a reset after lockdown because Shine on Me came out and it got loads of attention. It was great. We were made up with it. But then we were in lockdown, so there wasn't anything we could really do with it. Then we signed with Golden Robot Records and we wanted a kind of fresh start, really. We wanted a kind of, there was new people in the band. We'd had a whole period of time over lockdown not doing anything, as in, no one was. So then, yeah, then it was kind of like right, we need unique branding. You Google Keylock and a lot comes up. So we wanted to come up with something that was uniquely ours and kind of sounded like us and was a little bit, we had this kind of idea of what I wanted, like a kind of Aerosmith thing, a name that didn't really mean anything. Aerosmith, Supertramp, that kind of thing. And then eventually, after thousands and thousands of, what about the 4 million air bubbles? No, loads of them. We settled on Silver Roller, and I think it was one of them where when we said it out loud, we kind of all went, "Oh, someone Google that quick," and there it was.
Yeah,
Like there was no band called Silver Roller, so yeah,
excellent.
so there it was.
So I suppose it also signifies a bit of a change in direction insofar as because obviously with Aaron, his previous sort of incarnation was very much sort of blues and blues rock oriented, and I know from when we spoke before, you really wanted to move away from that and get more back to stripped back rock and roll.
Well, yeah, I think that was another thing as well. Was it wasn't just a continuation of his solo thing. It's a band. Everyone writes the various bits around what we do, and I write the lyrics and the melodies and stuff, and that's not to say the other boys don't chip in. They do. If sometimes, like especially Joe, our drummer, he'll sometimes go, "I've heard you say that before," and you right, okay, I'll change that. So yeah, we wanted it to cut. It's a band, it's a band, and decisions are made as a band, musically, business, etc. So we just wanted it to kind of reflect that as well. So, and that's not to take away from what he's done. He's probably the most killer rock and roll guitar player I've ever stood on stage with. So,
Yeah,
we just wanted it to be to reflect what it is.
yeah, and as you say, a fresh start. And I mean, I've been privileged to hear your upcoming single, "Hold."
Yeah.
Oh, what a belter! Absolutely blinding. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Sadly, when this interview goes out, people won't have heard it necessarily, unless they've happened to have heard it on any radio airplay.
Yeah.
Are you getting much airplay at the moment on that?
You know what, man? I've just been scrolling through the socials and everything we've been tagged, and it's a lot, man. And I'm made up. You know what I mean? Like, cause you make this thing, you think it's fabulous, and then you send it out into the world, and then you kind of go, you know, um,
Yeah.
uh,
It makes you
like
clench up a little bit, doesn't it?
yeah, like the five of you guys all go, yeah, it's great, and then you kind of wait and see if everybody likes it, and so far, man, we've got loads of stations have played it, so buzzing, and stations in the States as well, and just stations in Germany. So yeah, it's great, man. It's nice to kind of uh, see that people are appreciating what we do.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, yeah, because obviously lockdown was an absolute killer for the band as it was.
Yeah.
Because yeah, just as you were starting to get the wagons rolling, everything, the wheels came off, didn't they? So
Yeah, well, yes, someone shot the horses. Yeah, like
yeah,
it's
yeah, that's right. I mean, it was a big blow. I mean, and everybody was sort of saying, well, what's happening to Kilo? When are they coming out with new music? What's going on? Obviously, now we have the answer. Uh,
well, and you know what, man, we were saying that as well because we had not to kind of point fingers or anything, but we had 15, 20 demos, and the management kept telling us that they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh. And then, you know, you go to a record label and the record label go, these are great. Let's release this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh? So,
Yeah.
you know, you part ties with people, and we've always kind of been of the opinion, if you're not behind us, pushing us forward, you're just in the way. So
Yeah.
move, you know, just off it. Like, if you don't believe in what we're doing, that's fine. And I think, you know, we had a vision for it, they had a vision for it, and those things didn't match up, you know. And
Sure.
that's nothing against those guys. It's just it was best for us to move on. So
Oh
we
yeah,
did.
yeah. Everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? You know, they don't always align
Everyone.
with yours. You know,
Yeah,
so as they
yeah,
say, they're like arseholes, but you don't want to necessarily hear or see somebody else's. But
yeah, yeah. Well, some people's, but
well, yeah,
but honestly, man, it was just a kind of case of like, you know, initially you take it on, you go, oh no, and we mustn't be very good, and blah blah blah, and then you go, we
yeah,
are, you know,
exactly.
we believe in it. So it was just like, well, we'd rather kind of fail believing what you know, in what we believe in, than kind of following
Mm.
this kind of, we think rock and roll should sound like this, and it's like, right, okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, because you've gone down the self-management route now, certainly for the time being. If you're not,
yeah, yeah. We're kind of in. We kind of do everything in house. It's quite democratic.
Mhm.
You know, there's five of us, and me, Joe, and Aaron handle a lot of the business stuff. Jake, our bass player, is just not online at all, like at all.
Yeah,
He's got like a Nokia 3310. You got to ring him if you want him for something. And then
real old
sometimes
school.
yeah, and then sometimes I think, does he still exist? And then he's like, yeah, man, I'll see you there.
Yeah,
And Ross, our organ player, has got like a million things going on, so we tend to kind of, and he's terrible with answering messages. So
yeah,
we tend to do stuff, and then we kind of. But if anyone's ever got any issues or anything, you know, it's democratic, you know.
yeah. No,
To a,
absolutely,
to a
absolutely.
point.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Yeah, because I hear this a lot. You know, where bands have either been held back by management, or by the label. You know, the label are pointing them down a particular route. You know,
Yeah.
we're talking some pretty serious names here. I'm not going to mention them. But you know, and then once they break away from either that management or that label, then they can spread their wings, and then they start being true to themselves. And as musicians, that's where you've got to be, isn't it? You can't be
Massively,
what
yeah.
companies want to be.
Yeah, I mean, we went and demoed a bunch of stuff for that management kind of. Again, I'm going to cut a long story short, and we just weren't happy with the demos. We it was too much of a change from what we wanted to do, and I think that was really the breaking point with that as a kind of relationship, because they were adamant that it was the best thing since Sliced Led Zeppelin, and
Yeah,
for us, it kind of just it skated too far away from the truth and the honesty of what we were trying to do,
yeah,
and the kind of from the business side being told, oh, you know, well, this is better than that, because it's like, I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, because it's me that's got to stand on stage and sing it, and I'm not gonna do that. You know, because that's not us. You know what I mean? Like, you could hire a bunch of session guys and do
yeah,
that song like
exactly.
that if you wanted to.
Yeah,
But then, yeah, when we went to the label with the demos, they were really pleased with it all, and said, well, where's this all been? You know, and we were
yeah,
like, well, it's been there for a while.
yeah,
So it's good to finally to hear the record in its entirety and get the first single out, man.
yeah, yeah. So are we talking the first single from an album here,
Oof.
or are we talking
Well,
EP?
you know, it's lengthwise,
Mhm.
it's about the same kind of length as what would be on a 12-inch vinyl, say.
Right. Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
so it's somewhere between an EP and an album, I think. We just call it the record. It's 6 tracks
yeah.
long.
Right.
I think I'm allowed to say that. If I'm not, it's too late. Um,
Bloody right. You said it now.
yeah, there it is, an exclusive.
Yeah.
Um, And so that was what we were sent in the studio to do by the label. So that's what we did, and I'm proud of it. So and I know the boys are proud of it. So I'm just hoping that everybody kind of digs what we do. But if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's other
Well,
bands to listen to.
if Hold is anything to go by, this is going to be really damn special. So, any sort of timeline on the release of the record?
Of the full thing. Well, we think that the full thing will be out next year. At the moment, we're just desperate to get Hold out and then get on the road with it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, because you've got a few dates coming up, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you
Yes,
remember those dates, or would you like me to read them out for you?
They're imprinted upon my soul, man. We're in Sheffield on the 12th. As a headline show. 13th we're in Liverpool in October. Then it's Bradford, Glasgow, Bristol, and then we end the run at Paper Dress in Hackney in London on the 17th. And we're in between times we're out with, as in the 3 dates in between the headlines, we're with Jared, James Nichols, and The Wolf. So that's fabulous.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool act to be lining up alongside, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we'd said like, oh, like individually, it's wouldn't it be great to support Jared at some point? Wouldn't it be great to play with The Wolf at some point? And then they're going to be on the same stage we are, so not at the same time. That'd be chaos.
Oh yeah.
Well, who knows? Who knows? I'm up for it.
Yeah, a good jam session would go down well, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, would you? Yeah.
I mean that is fantastic, because it sounds like you're really hitting the ground running this time, which which really wasn't happening before, was it? It was sort of like
No.
the gigs were pretty sporadic. Even before lockdown, there wasn't a lot going on. But it sounds like you've actually got a plan this time. Would that be a fair comment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and this time as well there's recorded music to back it up. Last time we had the 2 singles that came out way apart from one another, and then we didn't have anything to follow it up. We did musically, but nothing recorded. I mean, musically, what you'll hear on this record, these songs coming up, is what was kind of, some of it was the stuff that was stoked and ready to go to follow that up, that never did. So yeah, that again, I suppose back to the first question of new name, band name, and some new faces in the door, and I sound like a manager, don't I? Like integrated into the squad.
Well, in a way you are, but you're self-managing. There you go. You can sound like that.
I sound like a football manager, like new faces in the door, integrate them into the squad.
It's a game of 2 halves and all that sort of stuff.
etc. Yeah. But yeah, so no, I'm just stoked to get it out, man. It feels like it's been forever. So yeah, just looking forward to getting it out and getting it aired by people.
Damn right. I mean, I can feel your excitement. It's yeah, I can tell you are really buzzing for this. So
yeah, I am, man.
Yeah. And I can't say I blame you. Like I say, you got a great single coming out. Nothing sad of it. I've read it through several times now. So
good.
No, really, it's well constructed, catchy. Yeah. That's a tune,
It's also I think it's the quickest song we've ever written. And we were rehearsing for something, and we had an hour studio time left, and it was right. Should we cut now and go get something to eat, or should we just have a jam? And someone quite sensibly said, "Let's just have a jam." And the boys laid the riff. Well, Aaron laid the riff down, and he said to me that most drummers that he's ever played that riff to just play like a straight 4/4 behind it, and Joe pushed it and like started driving it home. And then I was sat there in the corner, just kind of going, "Do that bit again." And it was Joe. It was the drummer, actually, Joe, who said that stop needs to have "Gotta Hold On Me," and I was like, "Right, there it is." And then that set of lyrics got thrown, and a whole bunch came out. And within an hour, 90% of the song was there. And you go, "Whoa, like where's that come from?" So it's nice that it was that kind of organic.
Yeah,
quickest song we've written.
It's funny how so often these things can actually work best like that, you know. Yeah, Jonnie, it's been absolutely marvelous talking to you about this, mate. As I say, I can feel your enthusiasm for this project going forward. I know it's going to be a great one. Like I say, now you got that plan in place, you can really go run with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Give my regards to Aaron. It's been a while since I've seen him.
I will do.
But yeah, it's been a joy, mate. Absolute joy. And I wish
will we see you on the road? Are you coming to any of the shows?
You might see me at Paper Dress Vintage. I'll have to run it past management.
Well, yeah, give us a shout. Give us a shout. Yeah. So yeah, touring October, records coming out soon. Please give it a listen. Pre-save it. Go and pre-save it if you haven't.
Jonnie, absolutely wonderful talking to you, mate. As always a pleasure. And you take care.
You too, brother. See you later.